A day in London. London, the city of history and grandeur, stretched out before Margaret as she stepped off the train at King's Cross Station. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain that always seemed to linger in the British capital. She had arrived early in the morning, the sky still a pale grey, with the promise of a bustling day ahead. Margaret had always been enchanted by London. The city was a tapestry of stories, each street and building a thread woven with centuries of life. She had come to London to write, to capture the essence of the city in her words. As a writer, she found inspiration in the pulse of urban life, in the contrast between the old and the new, and in the quiet moments that spoke volumes. Her first stop was the British Museum, a place where the past and present coexisted in a harmonious dance. The grand facade welcomed her, and as she walked through the halls filled with artifacts from around the world, she felt a deep connection to history. She paused before the Rosetta Stone, marveling at the key to understanding ancient languages. She wandered through the Egyptian mummies, their faces serene and timeless, and the Greek sculptures, capturing the beauty of human form. Leaving the museum, Margaret made her way to Covent Garden. The market was alive with activity, a symphony of voices, laughter, and the clatter of stalls. Street performers entertained the crowds with their acts, from musicians playing soulful tunes to magicians astonishing passers-by with sleight of hand. She sat at a cafe, sipping on a cup of tea, and watched the world go by. Her notebook lay open on the table, and she jotted down snippets of conversation, descriptions of people, and fleeting impressions of the vibrant scene. As noon approached, Margaret decided to take a walk along the Thames. The river was the lifeblood of London, its waters reflecting the city's ever-changing moods. She strolled along the South Bank, passing the London Eye with its slow, graceful rotation, and the Tate Modern, its imposing structure a beacon of contemporary art. She crossed the Millennium Bridge, pausing to look down at the river below, and then continued on to St. Paul's Cathedral. St. Paul's stood as a testament to resilience and faith, its dome rising majestically against the skyline. Margaret entered the cathedral, feeling a sense of awe at the sheer scale and beauty of the interior. The whispers of countless prayers seemed to linger in the air. She climbed to the Whispering Gallery, where even the faintest sound carried across the vast space, a reminder of the power of words. In the afternoon, Margaret found herself in the heart of Westminster. She stood before the Houses of Parliament, their Gothic spires reaching for the sky. Big Ben chimed the hour, its deep, resonant tones echoing through the streets. Nearby, Westminster Abbey loomed, its walls steeped in the coronations, marriages, and burials of England's most illustrious figures. She wandered through the cloisters, imagining the lives of those who had walked there before her. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the city, Margaret made her way to Trafalgar Square. Nelson's Column stood tall, surrounded by the fountains and the grand facade of the National Gallery. She sat on the steps, her notebook in hand, and began to write in earnest. The square was a crossroads of humanity, with tourists taking photos, children chasing pigeons, and Londoners going about their daily routines. She captured the energy and diversity of the scene, her pen moving swiftly across the pages. Her final destination for the day was the West End. The lights of the theatres beckoned, promising an evening of entertainment and escape. Margaret had a ticket to a play at the Royal Opera House, and as she took her seat in the opulent auditorium, she felt a thrill of anticipation. The curtain rose, and for a few hours, she was transported to another world, her senses absorbed by the drama unfolding on stage. After the performance, she walked back to her hotel through the quiet streets. London at night had a different charm, the glow of streetlights casting long shadows and the city's monuments illuminated in a soft, ethereal light. She passed through Leicester Square, where the last remnants of the evening's crowds were dispersing, and Piccadilly Circus, its neon signs flashing in vibrant colors. Back in her room, Margaret sat by the window, looking out over the city. The day had been a whirlwind of experiences, each moment a piece of the puzzle that was London. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that she had captured the spirit of the city in her writing. She penned the last lines of her entry, describing the way the city seemed to breathe, a living, ever-evolving entity. London, with its rich tapestry of history and culture, had woven its magic around her. Margaret knew that this day would be one of many, each visit to the city revealing new layers and stories waiting to be told. She closed her notebook with a satisfied sigh, the lights of London twinkling outside her window, a reminder that in this city, there were always more tales to uncover, more adventures to embark upon, and more inspiration to be found.